Dude, I mean, there's just a polarizing figure on this card. Everybody was
Likes the grass
in
though.
this man's shadow.
Oh.
And like Jon Jones, the returning Jon Jones, after what was it, 3 years?
3-year layoff. Yeah, 3-year layoff, new division. He's had layoffs before, going up in weight, a lot of questions, what's gonna happen, all that stuff.
Has he been going to strip clubs? Has he been all coked out? Is he still on roids?
Yeah.
And it
Is the
might be
reason it
all the
took so
above.
long is the reason it took so long is because he was bulking up with the use of steroids and he needed to pass drug tests before he came back. All those questions were asked. What's he gonna look like? You know?
But by the way,
There he is.
going in, right? Because I haven't really followed Jon Jones very much in those 3 years,
Mhm,
and all I hear is he's taking all this time off because he wants to bulk the right way. He's
mhm.
working out, he's lifting heavy, he's doing all these things. So like,
The
I'm
mass.
excited to see him in the weigh-ins. And I'm like, this guy's gonna be ripped, man. He's gonna walk in looking like Francis Ngannou, and everything else looks the same except he has a belly. He
Yeah,
has a
I
little
mean,
belly.
he's bigger. He's bigger. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe his arms a little bigger. Looks like.
his arms are bigger. He was like, "Yeah, all the weight went to my ass. All the squats I'm doing." It's like it also went to the spare tire, but you know what? I feel him on that.
Definitely
But
didn't go to his calves.
definitely didn't go to his calves. No,
That man
no, it
can
did
work out
not.
his calves every day for hours on end, and I think they'll still stay the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance. But yeah, I was. A lot of people were kind of giving him shit for his physique and stuff. I thought he looked fine. I mean, obviously the comparison is going to be to what he looked like when he's able to cut at 205. But when you compare him to other heavyweights, he looked pretty good. You know,
Yes, 100%. I
he looks
mean,
pretty
you put
good.
him up next to like a Tai Tuivasa. You know
Parker
what I mean?
Porter, you know, like the list goes on. There's a lot of
But I mean, look at your boy Cyril Gane, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's
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 ripped.
he's a genetic freak, you know. But yeah, going into the fight itself, it's like there's so many questions, right? Um, Regen says, "I hope he keeps going next fight. He'll look like Roy Nelson."
That'd be amazing.
But yeah, so the fight itself, I was telling everybody that my two biggest questions going into it was a 3-year layoff. John's style, specifically, especially later into his career, John is being able to roll with shots. We say it a bunch of times. I said it a bunch of times on the show that he rolls with punches better than anybody I've seen in MMA. And so what's that going to be like with the layoff? After 3 years, does he still have the timing to roll with those shots? Because if the timing's off at all at heavyweight, he's going to get knocked out.
Yep.
You can't miss the timing on rolling with punches at heavyweight, especially against a puncher like Cyril Gane. He's going to get knocked out. So that was question number one that I had. Question number two was, will the wrestling translate to heavyweight? That's
Mm.
arguably the bigger question because it's like e- everybody's shitting on Cyril Gane for his performance in this fight, but the reality is style wise, if the wrestling translates, that's all that matters.
Yep.
And I was
It was a
watching
matchup
Kevin
nightmare for Gone.
stylistically, yeah. And if it's like question one, question two, does the wrestling translate? If it does, don't need any other questions. If it doesn't, now where's the timing? Is he going to be able to roll with these shots? Things like that. As soon as he took it down, I looked over at Kevin. I said, "That's a wrap. It's over. There's no way Cyril Gane wins this fight." And then we know what happens. Regent says, "I thought once it got to the ground, it could go that way, but I thought Gane or Gone would make it a lot harder than he did." What did you think about that? Because I see a lot of people talking about, and I'm not saying Regen's saying this, but a lot of people I see are saying they're almost less impressed with Jon Jones and they're more disappointed in Cyril Gane. You know what I mean?
No. No,
I don't think that way at all.
I'm really impressed by Jon Jones, man.
Yeah.
The fact that anybody's able to take 3 years off and come back and fight at the highest level, he goes
Mhm.
right in and fights for the heavyweight championship of the world, going up in weight class. And Will, we've talked fights for I don't know how many years already. I'm not the
Mhm.
biggest Jon Jones fan,
Yeah.
but
You are the biggest Jon Jones apologist.
what, dude? But I'll say he's one of the best to ever do it, man.
One of?
Yes.
I think
I
you
think
can
he's
cut
one.
out one of.
Oh man,
He's the best. He's the
Yes.
best. It's
It,
you can't even argue it anymore. The only
see,
thing
that's how
against
much I
his
like Jon
argument,
Jones. It pains me to say that.
I know. The only way you can discredit him or say that he's not uh the GOAT
The
is
roids.
valid is the roids.
Yeah.
If you say if you fail the drug test, you're automatically out of that conversation. That's the only valid thing at this point. Because I mean, who else? Who else has done anything like this?
Look, I was really impressed because going in, everybody
Oh,
was like,
go
"Oh,
through.
Jon
I
Jones,
forgot
Jon
I'm
Jones,
also
Jon
doing the
Jones."
producing. So I haven't gone
Yeah.
completely through the slideshow at all.
Jon Jones, Jon Jones, Jon Jones, right? But for me, I still thought that this was a very dangerous matchup for Jon Jones because he's going in against Cyril Gane. He's a
Mhm.
heavyweight, a natural heavyweight. We talked about his physique earlier. He has the
Cyril
strength
Gane's
of a
not making
heavyweight,
205.
the power of a heavyweight, but then he also has the ability to move like a middleweight. So I thought
Mhm.
that this was going to be a very interesting matchup for Jon Jones, and it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot tougher for him than it was. Now that
Mhm.
being said, Gon made Ngannou look like an all-American wrestler
Yeah.
when they wrestle. And I know Ngannou's a big dude. He has to cut down to 265, but
Mhm.
still, I still take a look at the skill set that Jon Jones has,
Yeah.
and I thought, if he's able to use that skill set, it'll be a fairly easy night for Jon Jones if he's able to take Cyril Gane down, and he did.
Right? That was the biggest question. Does the wrestling translate?
Yeah,
Because stylists and there's a lot of like revisionist history now of people being like Cyril Gane, he was overrated basically. And it's like, no,
no,
no, it's none of that. And there's some of that in the co-main event too that we're gonna talk about. But in this fight, it's all Jon Jones. It's all Jon Jones. And everyone's like, what? Cyril Gane's game plan was to just kick him in the dick and then that was it. Give up the takedown. Cyril Gane didn't let Jon Jones take him down. Jon Jones took him down. You know what I mean? It's not.
Cyril Gane has 2 losses on his resume, and it's to
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou and to Jon
Yeah.
Jones, dude. This guy's
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very, very
He's
good.
very good.
So we haven't even really talked about the fight. Basically, I mean, it was 2 minutes, right? The lead up was almost more interesting than the fight for me because John's walking out when it cuts to John in the tunnel and he's walking out and he's like, oh man, it's like trying to hype himself up. And I was like, dude, he looks nervous. It's the most nervous I've ever seen him. He's like trying to hype himself up. Once he starts getting into the crowd, he's like smiling and he's dancing and stuff on the walkout. And I was like, okay, he's feeling it now. He's feeling it. And then they get to
And
the
then he
corner,
stops.
the pre stuff. Yeah, they go to the pre stuff, the check in and everything. And he like hugs everybody and stuff. And then he's like, all right, getting in there. He starts crawling up the steps and like, whoa, 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 whoa. Do you have a cup on? Do you want Vaseline on your face? So they pull him back.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. And I was like, oh man, he's nervous, man. and uh and then they do the Vaseline, they do the cup check, all that stuff. And then he starts going in there like, wait, not yet. And he's like, huh? And they're like, your foot, like we gotta cut the tape. They're like cutting there's something about the tape on his foot. And I'm like, man, this guy's it's just worst case scenario left and right as you're trying to get he's like he just wants to get in there and and they're like all these different distractions. Hey, shift your focus to your foot now. You're not focused on the fight, you're focused on your foot and the tape. What's the tape about? Is your toe broke? All this stuff. And they're
By
like,
the way, might have the nastiest feet in all of UFC.
yeah,
It's
maybe
up there.
it's up there. um but yeah, and I was going into that, I was like, man, that's got to be this dude's trying to focus and they're just not letting him do it. And then he gets in there and me and Kevin were like, man, is he gonna crouch to start the fight? What are his knees like with all this weight, all this time off? He's older, he's fight worn a little bit. And then he goes in there and does like a one-handed like cartwheel to get into the cage. And I was like, no, I think we're probably fine. We're probably good.
Dude,
And then the fight
it was
happens.
an amazing performance just overall, dude.
Yeah, he opens up with like a nice outside leg kick. Gon returns with the inside leg kick right to the dick, and then they have to wait again. And I'm like, man, they're really not letting John get off to a smooth start. um, and then it was kind of just a feeling out process for like what 30 seconds, and
Yeah.
then he ducked under a punch from Cyril Gane, took him down. Matt returned him, and then I think here's the thing that makes him great. Let me go back to this. So in this position where Cyril Gane's kind of on the fence and John kind of climbs up and it's not a mount, right? He's not mounted him, but he's over his knees, and that's like what's important. But there's a lot of times in fighting where guys get away with this type of stuff and wall walking, where they're like, I got to the fence, hands on the mat, I'm pushing down, I'm getting up, all this stuff. And they're vulnerable. And the other guy's like, I just need to try to hold him down. Don't let him wall walk. Don't let him do it. John is special. And the reason what makes John special is he'll take that. You can't give him that inch. That inch of I need a wall walk. Now my neck's exposed. Most guys let you get away with that. John's like, oh no, I'm just gonna take that. You're gonna give me your neck right now? Okay. Let me just climb up and guillotine you. Like, that's what makes him special. You can't make weird transitions like that. You against someone like Jon Jones. He's gonna take advantage of anything you give him. People talk about his fight IQ. Go
Yeah, and
ahead.
that's exactly what I was going to say. It's his fight IQ, man. You take a look
Mhm.
at he's been in so many different situations, right? It's
Mhm.
situational IQs there. This guy's 27-1. Let's be real though. He's 28 now. He
He's
was
28
kicking.
and 1.
Yeah, and
There's no contest in there for the steroids.
oh, that's right. But
But yeah, he's never
he
lost.
no anything that this guy sees in the octagon, somebody's already tried to throw his way.
Mhm. Yeah.
And Cyril Gane, again, he's very good. He's had 13 fights in the octagon, 13 MMA fights.
Mhm.
There's a huge difference.
Huge.
There's a huge difference, man. So that was a mismatch, right? Just the experience itself.
Yeah.
But man, I'm so excited now for Stipe versus Jon Jones.
Okay. I'm not that excited for that. It has to
Why?
happen because Stipe's what, 44 now? It's not like he's fighting Stipe like champ Stipe, It's
That's true.
it is
Like a
it
shell of
is
his old self.
I mean, we don't
He's
know
still
what we're gonna
good though.
get. The
He's
the
still
thing
good.
is though, he's still good, yeah. But he's a smaller heavyweight. He's not a big heavyweight. I think he weighed in at like 238 for his last Francis fight. I think that was what he weighed in at. But so he's not going to have the size advantage against John. He will have better defensive wrestling. That will make it very interesting.
Hmm.
I'm sure as the fight gets closer, I'll get more and more excited. But could you imagine if John comes back and he just got the belt at heavyweight, and then he beats Stipe, and then he defends it one more time against the winner of Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades?
Oh my god.
I mean,
That fight, Pavlovich
that's the real one.
looks like a freaking
Blades too.
monster.
Blades too. Blades versus
Yeah,
Jon Jones is very competitive.
yeah.
Very competitive because Blades is
Not as
a
excited for that one.
Blaze is a legit heavyweight, and he can
Yeah.
crack, and he's fallen in love with his hands. That's a very interesting fight to me. That's the most challenging fight for John at heavyweight. I think it's Curtis Blades.
I say don't count Stipe out though.
No, I would never count him out. And like I said, as the fight gets closer, I'll probably be like, oh man, I'm excited. But how about Stipe just like no selling it too? They show him. He's like they're
Yeah.
showing him on
He's
the broadcast, and John's like
whatever,
calling him out, and Stipe is just like no
man.
reaction whatsoever. And then they interview him. They pull him backstage with Megan Olivia. She's like, "What do
Oh,
you think
he
about
did
that
not want to
matchup?"
be
He's
there.
like, "They're like, they're like, Stipe, what did you think of that of John's performance?" Yeah, he's happy for him. Got the win. And they're like, what about a matchup with you guys? Oh yeah, we'll see. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, Stipe.
Maybe in July. She's like, is that what
There's
you
a
want? He's
reason.
like, well, that's what they told me.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. So,
That's why Dana hates him, dude.
oh, it's so
Just
funny.
like I'm just here to fight, man. What is all this
Yeah.
bullshit?
And you know what? And I'm here to watch him, man. But,
Jon Jones versus
we
Stipe.
haven't seen Stipe in a minute. I know. But while you and I are sitting here watching MMA, this guy's out there training and saving lives as a firefighter.
Yeah.
This guy is a beast. I'm a big Stipe fan, man. So
He's the
maybe
greatest
I'm a
heavyweight of all
little
time
more hyped up than most
in
others would
UFC.
be. But I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
let's be real. It's a big fight. It's a huge fight. If John can then take out the greatest UFC heavyweight champ of all time, regardless if he's 45, whatever how old he is, it's still impressive. Um, and I see people who are like, "Oh, we didn't get to see these questions answered. What does John's cardio look like? Can he go 5 rounds at heavyweight? All these things." It's like, do we need those questions answered? It clearly doesn't matter. He's going to go out there and choke someone out in 2 minutes. Who cares what his cardio is like?
Yeah.
He's only going to fight at heavyweight probably a couple times. If he fights Stipe and wins, he might retire off that. He might not even have a third fight at heavyweight.
True. True.
Like, do we need those questions answered? Not really.
I'm fine. I'm
I'm
fine with what
okay
I
with
saw.
what.
I'm super
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah.
All right.